My name's Brian Kennedy and I've been a rock climber for 10 years. So when most people think about rock climbing, they're thinking of free climbing where you are the one getting up the wall. Different types of that. There's what we call top roping, where the anchor, like the rope, is way up above you already and you can always keep it fairly tight and the belayer stays down on the ground and they're catching the climber at any point they slip. Then we have what's called bouldering, where there's no ropes, no harnesses, but you're never going up very high. You have like a crash pad or a spotter or something down on the ground to protect you if you fall. Then we have sport climbing, which is everything starts down on the ground and the belayer, the climber, the rope, everything is attached, but the climber is kind of clipping it in at certain points as they go up the wall. And that's what most people do outside when they go climbing. So most of the skills are more about the climber's safety and how to work the rope or spot the climber so that we don't have any risks or injuries or anything like that. But as far as actually climbing up the wall, they're all pretty similar. The way you grab holds, the way you use your body and your leverage and your balance and everything just to make it up to the top without falling. Indoor climbing and outdoor climbing are really different just because of the environment that you're in. When you're indoors, it's very structured, everything kind of operates the same way between the different climbing areas. You're climbing on plastic, these designated, created paths on artificial surfaces. When you're climbing outdoors, you're outside, you're in nature, fresh air, the sunlight, friends, you're just kind of making a bigger trip or bigger experience out of it. The big difference is just, like a quick trip into a facility in town after work or something versus a big weekend or week-long outdoor trip somewhere really exciting and cool. First-time climbers should always focus on the safety first. Learn how to do whatever type of climbing you're going to be doing so that you can get out of it, with a smile on your face at the end of the day and no injuries or anything. Learn from more experienced people than you who can show you the right way to go about things. Don't be self-conscious, just come in, try hard, and have a lot of fun. Anybody wanting to get into climbing as an activity or a hobby would do really well to start at an indoor facility where everything is a little bit more structured, the systems are provided, you can go through some training and start to get a feel for what everything how everything can go and see if you really like it. Then if they want to start to pick up other skills, they can go through additional training, get practice at their local gym or from more experienced people to learn how to maybe start going climbing outdoors on their own. A lot of it, is not very complicated, but there's basic belay skills and rope management skills that will teach a belayer how to keep their climber safe while the climber's moving. All kinds of climbing are going to be safety oriented and all about double checks, triple checks, making sure before anybody starts getting high up off the ground that the whole safety system is set up and operating how it should. So your basic belay skills can be learned in 30 minutes or less. Things can get more advanced or more complicated, but doesn't have to be prohibitive for people to get into. It's not super complicated, but you want to make sure you learn it the right way. Belayers and climbers need harnesses, and those are going to attach around their body and help them hook into the rope system that's going to catch them and make sure they're not just doing everything with just their hands. And then from there, climbing shoes and chalk bags are really, really helpful, but not necessarily required. Carabiners are one of the most well-known essential pieces of climbing equipment, and they basically just connect things to other things. They'll connect maybe a climber to a rope or a belayer to a belay device or a rope to an anchor point. They're really, really strong, stronger than they need to be for most instances. They're designed to just, hold everything together and keep it safe. There is definitely a lot to be said for the health aspect of it. You're in here, you're exercising, staying flexible, staying agile. It really works your entire body. There's a lot of social benefits to climbing as well. You almost never climb alone, unless nobody else is available or you're using an auto belay system. Usually it's going to be groups of 3, 4, 5 people going through a climb, hanging out, talking, working their way through tricky sequences together, sharing what we call beta. Climbing has really taken off in just the past few years because a lot of people are getting exposed to it through other means. But lately, things like American Ninja Warrior, have people interested in coming in and trying to act strong and flinging themselves around on the holds. The 2020 Olympics have a bid now for sport climbing and speed climbing to be introduced as Olympic events on a temporary basis to see the popularity and see if it will become a permanent change. So anybody wanting to start climbing outdoors kind of will have to do a little bit of research on the best places to go. Things you'd have to consider are always going to be, when you're going outdoors anywhere, who owns that land, or is it okay for you to use? Very popular places are going to be managed by like the National Park Service or the National Forest Service or state parks, whether it's Illinois or Kentucky or Indiana. Each one kind of has their own regulations on areas where not only you're allowed to climb, but also where you're not allowed to climb or where it's not safe to climb, just based on potential risks. Consulting a guidebook for your area is going to be a really good way to figure out what routes are where, are you allowed to be on them, when is a good time to be on them, and how hard they are. Climbing is not something you want to figure out as you go or make it up. I would definitely recommend learning from more experienced people, whether that's classes at your local gym or taking the outdoor trips with people who have been around quite a bit more, who can show you things as they come up.